Hi friends, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Anaya Monet, and you're watching the Love Naya video channel. If there's anything for you to know about me, I am a writer. I manage a Christian blog, and I use this platform to talk about the gospel of Christ and to really testify to the power of having a relationship, a true relationship with God. So for more information about the blog, you can check out the website in my description, or you can head to the homepage of this video channel. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into today's video. I have been really inspired to share this testimony with you guys because it's a funny one, but it also speaks to the fatherly love that God that's available to each and every single one of us. The way that the Lord be disciplining me and correcting me is so fascinating. So this is definitely something that I want to share with you guys. So this testimony speaks to, or is really about kind of like, I guess, a struggle, but my challenge with having a positive attitude and being kind and helpful to people who need it, right? So let me give you some context here. I am a leasing professional, and the office that I work at it's catered to the students that are in the area, right? So essentially I help people to find housing while they're in college or whatever the case may be, okay? Now, with being a leasing professional, not only do I help manage the community, right? But I also manage other aspects of the property, including packages, okay? So this testimony that I'm going to tell you about, it happened like a few months ago. Like I would say back in maybe like late summer, early fall. Okay. So on this one particular day, I'm sitting in my office. It's just me working in there. And I also have the other managers that are in office as well. So I'm sitting at the front desk, and then if you go kind of in the back, you have the rooms to the managers, right? Their doors are open so they can always hear, you know, if I'm on a phone call or if someone comes up to the front desk. At this time, we have had lockers that were installed on our property. So these lockers were going to be the designated area for all of the deliverers to drop off the packages, right? So this was something that was relatively new. Maybe, it had been some time since the lockers had been installed, right? But the carriers weren't like picking up on it. Like the memo wasn't getting across to them. So time and time again, you had to explain to the deliverer that, hey, we have lockers that are installed here. This is where you take it, right? Some of them didn't bother to, they like didn't want to go through the process of like delivering the packages. Some of them just didn't know, right? But that didn't matter to me either way. I was really like impatient about it and about explaining the process with them, right? So on this particular day, a deliverer comes in. It's an Amazon deliverer, and I see him coming to the front door of the office. So I already know, what's about to be up. He has on the whole, like the vest, and he has the Amazon or whatever. So I'm like, oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? So he comes into the front desk and he's like, hi, I'm here to deliver these packages. Like where do I deliver them? Right. And I can't remember the like exact exchange, but I remember being very stern with him, right? And that's what Lord was really working with me on. I was just being like very stern with people. So I'm having to explain to him for like the next couple of minutes, like, this is where we have the lockers. This is what you need to do. And I can't remember if he was like going back and forth with me, meaning like some of the deliverers would say, it says in the instructions right here that we have to deliver it to the mailing room. And you have to tell them, sir, I know that's what the instructions say, but you're speaking to the leasing professional who's telling you to deliver the packages to the locker room, right? And so they would try to go back and forth. I can't remember if that was the exact occasion that day, but again, I just remember being very stern with him. So after I explained to him what's going on, the gentleman, he leaves at the front desk, and I remember my manager calling up to me, and he goes, Anaya? And I'm like, yes. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, you know? And I was like, why do you ask? He was like, I don't know, you were sounding a little stern with the gentleman. I was like, oh, I just kind of like, oh, like that's what I usually do. It is what it is. So maybe a couple of minutes later, I get up and I head across the office to the coffee bar that we have. And I was going to go get some hot tea. Okay. While I was making my tea, I think the gentleman came back in. I can't remember, but I remember he came back in and he was asking for more like assistance and instructions. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I think maybe he came back in and then he went back out. And so I remember before I spoke, something happened that like got my attention from making my hot tea. But I remember I had just finished making the hot tea. So the water is like boiling hot, right? It's the machine that we get it out, boiling hot. And I remember I set that cup of tea down on the counter. So when I was finished with my exchange with whomever the person was, right? I remember I picked my cup back up and without hesitation, I took like a full gulp of the tea, right? And so when I took it in, guys, when I tell you that water was so hot, like it wasn't like it was like you know what I'm saying? And so it filled my entire mouth. Like I felt like my entire head was on fire, right? And it was so hot that I immediately spit it back out. So I went, and I remember looking down at it and there was this clear and immediate thought that went through my head. And I felt the Holy Spirit saying, your tongue stings. And I go, so I'm looking at the ground, I'm looking at the splattered tea and I go like this. And then the thought comes. And then I immediately think, this is how people feel when I talk to them. And it was like a yes, And so I'm sitting here doing like this. The conversation that me and the Holy Spirit are having is probably like 5 seconds. Because as soon as I spit it out, the thought comes, your tongue stings. And I'm like, this is how people feel when I talk like that? Yes. Oh. I didn't say anything. I went to go get the paper towel. I'm very quiet because I'm convicted. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you just got yelled at. I go to the paper towel. I'm calmly and convictedly wiping up the tea from the floor. You know what I'm saying? And I go and throw it away. And I took my tea and I went to go sit back down at the front desk. And I'm just sitting there thinking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like is that really how I'll be making people feel, And let me tell you something. This happened like in the morning. This was probably like 9 or 10 o'clock in that morning. And I was working that day until 6 p.m. For the rest of that day, you hear me? For the rest of that day, anytime a deliverer came in and they were asking about like where to deliver the packages, Anaya got up out of her seat and I said, yes, sir, let me actually show you where to deliver the packages. Yes, sir, let me take you. I wasn't bothered to take you. You're just gonna have to figure it out yourself while you coming in here asking me. Attitude fixed up real quick. You feel what I'm saying? I said, yes, sir, let me actually take you. And I would call back to the manager and I would go, hey, I'm about to go show them where to deliver the packages. And they'll be like, okay. And so and it was maybe like 2 or 3 deliveries that came in, for the rest of the day. But sure enough, I said, if you got one liquor question, if you go where, you ain't got to say nothing else. Let me go ahead and take you. You know what I'm saying? And I remember that day it not convicted me. And not only like convicted me about, just my exchange with Amazon deliverers or deliverers in general, but just like the attitude of like helping people. And it was like God telling me, stop talking to people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people like who are not, it's not just about asking questions about where to deliver the packages, but there are going to be where the Lord is taking me, there are going to be people that are needing your help. They're going to be asking questions because they simply do not know. And they don't need to be coming up to you and you popping off on them and you having this type of tongue towards them. Your tongue stings. Cool it. You know what I'm saying? Relax, calm down. And let me tell you, even still to this day, it's been over, I can't remember if this was, it's probably been close to like 6-7 months. You know what I'm saying? Still to this day, whenever I be like feeling that attitude coming up, I go back to that sting. I be like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Now, it's not to say I've been, I have like, a positive attitude every single time people comes in. Of course, that's the ideal. There are still times I get frustrated, but I'm definitely much more cognizant of the way that I talk to people, right? And it's this thing of letting the Holy Spirit like really work with me, because obviously that's an indicator that I'm not very patient with people, right? Or just not really eager to help people. So it's definitely helped me out, but this was a great testimony to share with you guys, to kind of illustrate to you how the Lord works with you. He will work with you in a way that will work for you. Mouth boiling hot fire. You feel what I'm saying? Hopefully this will kind of, I guess, inspire or enlighten or even correct somebody else, to make sure you are mindful with the way that you're helping people, right? Because I know if you have a job that's similar to mine, where it's simply customer service. And so we serve people in some type of way. And especially if that service requires for you to be redundant, I know it can be exhausting and I know it can be annoying and sometimes it's frustrating, right? But you have to remember that even for you, there's been a time where you just didn't know something and you needed help. You needed to ask a question. And so how would it make me feel if I, coming into a situation like very ignorant and just trying to acquire some knowledge and somebody is stern with me? I would have been like, ooh, why are they acting like that? You know what I'm saying? So just treating people in the way that I want to be treated, for sure. Let me know if you would like more testimonies like this, because I have plenty for sure, but again, I'm just sharing this so that way it gives insight to other people. But I want to say thank you for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and your reflection in the comments below, and until next time, bye.